a lot of investment has come in the services sector. We have two large hospitals which have started work on the ground. We expect them to come into production to be commissioned soon. In order to meet the demand for land for industrial units, the government has set up 46 new industrial estates which are under development. But the government took a conscious decision to provide land to the industries in semi-developed state. In February this year, we came out with a new startup policy, and that policy is focused on promoting startups through incubators. So we are working with the various incubators in our education institutions. So I think in the last 5 years, particularly the last couple of years, there's been a sea change in the industrial growth in J&K. And I would go so far as to say that we've crossed the inflection point, and the data of the last 2 years indicates we're on an upward trajectory for growth. So 22-23, the investment was about 2153 crores. Last year, 23-24, we did about 3389 crores. But what is more promising is that as on 31st March, there are about 889 units with an investment of about 18,185 crores, where work has started on the ground. We are actively engaging with these industries, trying to resolve their teething issues, and we are confident that at least 50% of these units, and comprising about 9,000 crores of investment, will come into production in this year. I see the industrial revolution in J&K just beginning. And more than numbers, what is also interesting is the kind of industries that have come in and the nature of the investors that are coming in. If you talk of the size, then in the last year we've had very large investments come in. Green Energy across Unit 1 and 2 is investing about 3,600 crores, and they're in a high-tech area of making solar cells, wafers, and ingots. Similarly, we have Jupiter Aluminium, which is into flexible packaging. Their investment about 700 crores. We have the Pepsis and the Coca-Cola. Their bottlers have come in. They're setting up units here. If you look at the Kashmir Valley particularly, again, a lot of investment has come in the services sector. We have two large hospitals which have started work on the ground. We expect them to come into production to be commissioned soon. There's a lot of investment happening in the tourism space. There's a very large hotel is being built outside Pahalgam, where JW Marriott is the partner. And again, these are investment by expat Kashmiris. The fact that they now, people who had moved out and have established businesses in other parts of the world, they see promise in coming back, investing, and also contributing back to the motherland. I think all this sort of augurs well for the industrial development of J&K. I think any investment that will come in not only generates employment directly, but it also leads to a multiplier effect through development of ancillary industries. And while there may be questions about initially about the labor that is being brought in or the skilled manpower, which is largely, I think, the need initially because the local manpower or the local technical skills are not available. But over a period of time, I see that this will lead to both local job creation and also benefit to the local through ancillary industries. And we've already seen that happening across the areas where there's large investments have come in. In the area of Pulwama, large number of CA stores have come in, which have been set up by the local sort of citizens of JNK, and most of the labor there again is sourced from the neighboring areas. In the Jammu area, large investments have come in the Samba Kathua area, where a mix of local and I think labor from other parts of the country have come in. In addition to this, what has been employment that has been generated by the large industries, the government is also working actively to create employment through the employment generation initiatives. So under the flagship PMEGP scheme of Government of India, JNK stands number one by far in the number of PMEGP units sanctioned. Last year we sanctioned 27,000 units. And overall, the last 3-4 years, we've maintained similar numbers. So we have our own scheme for employment generation, and we have other initiatives of employment generation of government of JNK, which all combined together, I think, are working actively to solve and provide both organized employment and self-employment to the local population. So till 2019, there were about 64 industrial estates. In order to meet the demand for land for industrial units, the government has set up 46 new industrial estates, which are under development. But the government took a conscious decision to provide land to the industries in semi-developed state, with the idea being that while the industry is being set up, the estate would also be developed. And that decision has borne fruit. In many industrial units, while the industrial estate is being developed, the units have started work on the ground. And in a few cases, for example, in our largest estate is Bhagtali in Kathua. The estate is being developed, but one unit, Bloom Texas, which is a large textile unit, that has already got commissioned. So overall, about 11,000 canals of land was given out in industrial estate, allotted to industrialists. In addition to that, the government also came out with a scheme for change of land use for industrial use. So about 5,000, as of 31st March, about 5,000 canals of land, both in Jammu and Kashmir, has gone through this process and has also been put to industrial activity. In addition to that, we have raised intents for about 26,000 canals of additional land, and about 6,000 canals of land has come to us, and we are in the process of allotting that. And as and when new land also comes, we will create new industrial estates and allot that land also. We are confident that by end of the coming year, the demand for land would largely be met. So I think JNK is now coming of age in terms of the startup culture. In February this year, we came out with a new startup policy, and that policy is focused on promoting startups through incubators. So we are working with the various incubators in our education institutions to promote startup, and we are also providing support to the incubators to improve their hardware and also their software in terms of training of the incubator managers, support to the incubators. If you look at the data, as of April 2023, there were 412 startups registered with DPIT, JNK based startups. As of now, the number is about 850. In addition to that, when we launched the startup policy, we started a registration for the startups to provide them seed funding and also for startup awards. And already about 1,600 startups have come and provisionally registered with us. We are in the process of evaluating these startups. And we are hopeful that out of this large pool that we've identified, we'll be able to find a number of very promising startups which will serve as role models. Of course, there's a lot of catch up that JNK has to do, but I think there are two interesting aspects here which show promise. One, till recently, there was no startup in JNK which had raised institutional equity finance. Last 1 year, we've had two startups, one in the horticulture space that was able to raise funds from a Belgian-based impact fund, and two, a local logistics startup called Fastbeater that has been able to also raise institutional finance. Secondly, the nature of the startups is changing. The earlier startups were largely focused on solving the local issues. Now, the startups that we see emerging here are startups that could have been located in any part of the country, but they chose to come and establish here. So, the trend of the youth from here going out and working in startups or setting up their startups in Delhi or Bangalore, Gurgaon or Bangalore or Hyderabad, that is being reversed, and people now see and realize that the state offers enough of an ecosystem support that they can locate their startup here.